Hey friends, how you doing? That's fair. We're having some green tea this afternoon. This one's for you, or whatever time of day you're seeing this video. And please remember at some point to get up, to stretch a little bit, drink some water, take your meds if that applies to you, eat something if you can. And I hope that you remember that you are loved, you matter. I'm so glad you're here with me. And I hope that you have a good day. Or do what you need to do to survive the day. Cheers. Cling. So I thought I'd do a life update video. It's been a minute since I've just kind of updated you on what's going on in my life. And I have a list of topics written on my hand so I don't forget. So first one is a few days ago, my wife and I celebrated our 19th marriage anniversary, which is pretty cool. It's wild to think that we have been together for more than half of our lives. We've known each other for more than half our lives at this point. I'm 43. We've been married for 19 years. We were dating 3 years before that. So what's that? 22. And then knew each other for about a year, at least a year before we started dating. So been friends for a year before that. So 23 years we've been friends. So yeah, that's just wild. And I think I might make a video later of like what I've learned along the way, because I definitely did not start out knowing how to be a good life partner, which is a word I like better than husband. Life partner or partner, like anything that implies a partnership, equal footing, each side is, equally contributing and all that fun stuff, because that's what my wife and I shoot for. And I think it's also just because a lot of times when I think of husband wife, I'm thinking of like older books that I've read, and kind of I don't know, just whatever. But yeah, that's something I might talk about later and share. If you have any questions about marriage, let me know. Of course, there are people who have been married much longer than we have, so it's not like we're holding some sort of world record or anything. But 19 years is a long time. It's a long time. My knee. So there's still some swelling, and without a brace, it still feels unsteady. I do try to walk without a brace when I'm home. Sometimes I'll just wear a compression sleeve. It really does need some sort of compression to keep the kneecap in place. But I do try to walk around a little bit every day with no brace and no compression just to try to strengthen the knee. But progress is slow. When did I have the surgery? Back in December, so we're on month 4-ish, or been 4 months, whatever. It could take another couple months for me to get back to my normal before the surgery. Still don't know why the kneecap slips out of place, because that's still happening. But I don't want to do any other surgery until I have like 100% recovered from this, so that I know if I do go back in for MRIs or any other sort of testing what that looks like. But that is all dependent upon the next topic, which is my insurance situation. I will be getting insurance, but I had to wait a little bit longer because I had to sort some other things out financially, because the basic level of insurance that I could have gotten right away is for somebody who's healthy, who goes to see their primary care physician once or twice a year, isn't planning on seeing any specialists more than once or twice, hardly ever takes medications. I am somebody who already has a laundry list of health issues, already has specialists that I see once a year, multiple. And so the insurance is where it's like a $50 copay or a $40 copay to see your primary care, and a $75 copay or more to see a specialist doesn't work when you need to see them multiple times during the year. Also, I already have prescriptions that I take, so I need to be able to have a plan where the premium is a little bit higher. And so that's just going to take some time to get sorted. But hopefully by this summer, I will definitely have insurance. I have been able to keep up with my prescriptions by I use GoodRx. There are a number of other companies that have discounted ways to get prescriptions, and it's working so far for me and for what I need, but it's definitely a work in progress still. It's like I said, it's a lot harder when you already have a bunch of health issues. Oh, my oldest child is graduating. So we have 3 kids, and my oldest child is graduating high school this year. And that is just wild. It is scary. It's this realization that unless something crazy happens, we are in the last 5 years of our K through 12 educating parent journey. Because my youngest is gonna go into high school this fall, and so basically every 2 years we'll have a high school. Hopefully, we'll have a high school graduate. He's already got his college picked out, and yeah, it's really scary because I already struggle with time anyway, but this idea that my brain is like, he was just born. I was just reading him the paper while he was sitting in his high chair, babbling, and now he's, you know, legally an adult and he's about to go on to the next chapter of his life, and I'm not ready for that. But I am very excited for him and proud of him, and I am very excited to see what life holds next for him. I'm not talking right, but anyway, you know what I mean. It's just a weird feeling to have be a parent of a child who's about to be legally an adult in the world. That's so weird. Speaking of parents, my mom is got some health issues, and that's like another like reality thing, like I don't know. I don't like when my parents are sick. I know I'm in my 40s, but I turn into a little kid immediately. Anytime my parents have to do anything that's like surgery or seeing a specialist, I just freak out. I don't know if that's normal. Let me know if you have those same kind of struggles or fears when it comes to your parents' health. Yeah, so I'm trying not to fixate on that. I mean, she's fine. She's not in any danger or anything like that. Um, so I'm trying not to let my imagination create negative scenarios where there are none. So breathing, grounding, stick with my T's, all that. Yeah. I don't know why I'm telling you that, but I guess it's a life update I'm dealing with. Work's been pretty busy. Not bad, just really busy. There's just peaks throughout the year where my workload increases, and it's really important for me in those moments to really stick to my routines and schedules, because I did not do that a couple weeks ago, and I got really ungrounded, got really dysregulated, and it's really hard to get my brain and my body back on track when that happens. So yeah, so I just have to make sure that I am, you know, I have tea times built in throughout the day, little notifications that pop up on my phone that, hey, it's time to stop and have a cup of tea. And it's my just reminder to sit and breathe and all that stuff. And it can be really easy to just turn off that notification and go back to whatever it is I'm stressing out about. But who was it that said if I had like 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend 5 hours sharpening the axe? Was it Abraham Lincoln? I don't know. Anyway, but I like that quote because that is important, right? We have to take care of ourselves, especially those of us that have chronic health conditions, any sort of mental health struggles, or form of neurodiversity. I have to follow those grounding routines because when I do, I can be very productive and I can get a lot done. But if I'm not taking care of myself, that's where it can all go off the rails. So I'm trying to make sure I do that, even though things are really busy right now. Obviously, I don't look busy because I'm sitting here sipping a cup of tea. Anyway, and the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was school. So I think I may have talked about this months ago about wanting to go back to school to pursue a counseling degree. Now that I'm not able to teach in person, I've been trying to figure out, what am I going to be doing with the next 20 years of my life? Because I'm 43. More than 20 years really, because 65 is kind of the retirement age, and I don't really see myself ever retiring. I'm probably going to work until I, clock out, if you will. And while I love what I'm doing, I really want to be in a position where I'm working with students again, or helping adults like myself, who are going through things. And I have, as an autistic person with ADHD and chronic illnesses, I have really been through a lot. And I've loved talking about life and sharing what I've learned about life and mindfulness along the way. And I feel like I'm in a position where I could be what's that term, wounded healer. Like I'm the person who could tell you, like, there's a hole over there because I fell down it, and and I had to climb my way back out, not just because I looked at a map. And I think that there's something about people who have been through things that have decided to turn around and help the people behind them, if that makes sense. So anyway, so I'm taking one class. I started this week, and it's just to see how I do. And if it's going to work out, I'm going to take notes on how I'm doing and talk to my wife about it, because it's not just a decision I'm making that only affects me. But I would like to do that because I want to do something that's more directly impacting people. Again, I love what I'm doing. I don't plan on changing anything for a while, but when I'm thinking long term, what do I want to be doing? And so I think that putting myself on a path to become counselor or therapist or whatever would be really good. I also feel like it would allow me to have deeper conversations on this channel, on TikTok, when I'm on my blog, when I'm writing. The more I learn about mental health, I feel like the better I'm going to be in all of those topics. So I'm really scared, because I'm not where I was at when I went back to school the first time around. So hopefully this will be a good experience, and I'm scared. I'm going to do the thing anyway, because, what's that thing? You can't steer a parked car, so who knows where this will take me. But yeah, that's my life. That's what I've been up to. Feel free to let me know what you've been up to in the comments. I love reading your stories and hearing from you. And yeah, I'm going to go study. And for you guys, it's time for your next adventure. I love you. I'll miss you. Cheers. That was more of a tap than a cling. Oh well.